106.1 FM. You're in studio today with Eddie and Leah.
Hello.
And we have two very special guests in today. I've been really excited to have them on for.
I've been excited too.
Yeah.
I've been waiting for a while.
Yeah, we finally got you in. Alright, so we have. Introduce yourselves. Come on, let's.
Wanna go first?
Oh, I'm Alicia, aka Lisa.
And Simon.
Yeah, okay, Alicia and Simon. So, whereabouts are you guys from?
Give us all the dirty details.
In Jamaica.
In Jamaica.
Oh,
I was gonna go as okay. So Alicia and Simon are here from Three Little Birds,
Oh.
the Jamaican restaurant that has just opened up in Johnsonville.
Yeah.
But give us the full backstory now.
I guess you're right on it. We usually ask this question a lot of times, especially in this setting. And usually I turn it over to Lisa first, and then I will chip in.
Okay.
So,
The backstory.
the backstory. So, I'm from this little country town called Kitson Town in St. Catherine, Jamaica. And Simon grew up in Kitson Town too, but was born
In Kingston, in Trenchtown, where the original reggae icon is from.
Right.
My parents know Bob and that kind of stuff, so.
Wow.
But I had to move to Alicia's parish, small town, because things got really hot and we had to.
Right.
So where it's much more peaceful and quiet, yeah.
Yeah. So that's kind of our backstory. So Kitson Town, St. Catherine, grew up there, spent most of my life there, and then I met Simon in this little town called Spanish Town, St. Catherine again.
Right.
Now I've heard of Spanish Town.
And
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I guess this is where I come in. So I'm a former professional athlete for Jamaica. And
Bobsled team?
No. No.
Bob's.
No. So I got an athletic scholarship. So I'm a runner in 1990. And I left Jamaica when I was 18. I spent quite a while in the United States, pretty much on the East Coast. So I went to school in Virginia, which is George Mason, which is 10 minutes away from the White House. And so I studied engineering throughout my college, both undergraduate and master's. And then I went professionally for 2 years. And I went back home briefly. And one day in Spanish Town, I was traveling to my mom, and Alicia was at the bus stop, and that's how I walked over, and I said to her, you know me, right? And she's like, nah. I said, come on, when you go home, ask your mom who is Simon Bowen. Lisa can tell you the rest.
That's so cute.
Yeah, because even though we maybe live 20 minutes away walking, I didn't know him. I know of his family and everything, but didn't know him. So I did ask my mom, and she did know him, but still, I think that was something interesting for us to explore, and that's how Simon and I met. And
Yes.
From that, we got married, decided that we were going to explore the U.S. together.
So
And we migrated to the U.S. for a little bit, lived in Texas, went back home to Jamaica, then went back to the U.S., lived in Villanova.
Yeah, that's where I did my master's. So I took them to Philadelphia, and that's where Alicia went to Temple. So we kind of
Temple College.
Temple University.
Temple University.
Yeah.
in Philadelphia.
Yeah.
So I kind of dragged them in my life, which
Yeah.
is the college life. So we had our first son, so which is Tyree, and he was living on the campus with us and all that kind of stuff, and I was
Wow.
working there. And then pretty much after that, we started to work.
Yeah, we worked in the US a
Yes.
little bit, and then we decided,
Yeah.
we wanted to do something different.
Can I just wind it back a little bit?
Yeah.
How easy is it for Jamaican people to migrate to the US? Because there's a big community of Jamaicans there.
Yeah.
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 Yeah, I mean, so there are different avenues. So you will have, and it is actually a very good question, because if you take it back in time in the 70s, and sometimes you hear the term the banana boat. And what do I mean by banana boat is in the 70s, there were people who were migrating to London, seeking out different opportunities. So for England, it was London. And for the US, it was New York, Atlanta. So Jamaicans live and have set up roots in some of the major cities throughout the world. And so what happens is sometimes is some people enter the country legally, and some people made sacrifice for their kids, overstayed, found their way how to get their papers, then start to bring in the kids, then start to bring in the grandparents, then start to bring in the mom and pop, and so establish roots in all these major cities. But for me, I entered the United States legally. I got a scholarship, so I earned my and just worked my way from there.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, because my family, so my grandparents were Windrush
See?
generation.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
there
So
you go.
to London. So then,
Yeah.
my grandmother's from Mandeville,
Oh,
Yes.
and my grandfather's from St Anne's, I want to say.
Yes.
Okay.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool. Yeah.
Nice.
And then I'm pretty sure my grandmother, in the kind of 70s, 80s, went to the US, went to work in the US for
Yeah.
a couple of years.
Yeah, because we do, like the nurses and teachers, they do migrate to the US
Right.
to work on work permits.
And the
And
sugarcane
the
farmers
sugar- yeah,
in
and then
Canada,
you have-
Toronto,
yeah, so
farm
you have
workers.
those
Right.
kind of,
Right.
And then you have students who, like athletes who get the scholarships,
Yes.
and then they
And
work
then
their
they just
way.
stay.
Yeah, and they
Right?
stay.
So there's a cause and there's an effect.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
A cause for looking for a better opportunity for your family. I call it sacrificial lamb. And so people then start to establish their own little roots within those cities. And it's from there you keep on building.
Yeah.
And it just continues over generation.
And you said you were a runner.
Yes. Yes.
Okay. We have to ask the question. We have to ask the
Oh, yeah.
question.
Yeah.
Do you know him?
Of
Do we
course.
know it?
I know,
It's the aim.
I know, and yes, we do, and we have pictures, and we have partied together, me and Alicia and I. So I know where you're going. It's Usain Bolt. Yes,
Oh.
we do.
Yeah, we do. Well, we do.
Yes.
We have partied with it.
I mean,
No, I've only said do you know him because, like, I'm having a bit of brain fog and I've
No,
forgotten
I
the
mean,
name.
Oh, you have.
I mean,
But we knew the aim, right?
so even right now, I'm well connected with most of the track and field fraternity in Jamaica and in the United States. So even though I no longer run, I am one of the guys. I'm a national rank athlete. I've done my time. I used to run the 800 meter. I'm not as fast, as well recognized as Usain Bolt, but we have all different circles. But then we all went through the same people, the administration, that kind of stuff. So yeah, I'm pretty known on the ground.
Do you
I'm impressed.
So it's funny talking about Usain because I was listening to, I must have put up on Spotify like a dancehall playlist. And he's making music now.
Yes.
Which I find is really
Yeah.
interesting.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things, right? And I guess this is the medium because moving to New Zealand, very, very new to immigration and more so Caribbean people, and I would say / Jamaicans, because I usually say no matter where you go in the world, a Jamaican is there.
Yeah.
Alaska, it doesn't matter how cold it is, Jamaican is there. But he ventured into the next thing. What's the next thing? Which is music. And I think he has this album called Country Youth. So Jamaicans in general, they're quite innovative. So that's the same for you.
And I think you look at it like it's an easy avenue. Like Jamaicans have been at the cornerstone of music.
Oh yeah.
Like
Yeah.
you think suddenly, DJ Cool Herkins up in New York City,
Yeah.
toasting and sound clashing ends up there
Yeah.
and becomes becomes hip hop.
Yeah.
You look at that in the UK, that
Yeah.
becomes jungle and it becomes
No,
right.
that's
Like-
that's
and
right.
even here, you look at it and you listen to it. I think when we moved here, we realized like how close reggae music is. Like if you listen to the sounds here
Yeah.
and compare it to back home, you're like, wait,
Which
what happened? Like
yeah.
they really do a good job of
Which-
representing reggae.
which
Yeah.
I get a chance now. I'm gonna give the biggest compliment to the people of New Zealand. When we move here, as what Alicia says, when I my first time listening to reggae music here, I stopped because it was that close
Yeah.
to what we know what the real deal is. So big ups to the reggae artists here in New Zealand
And-
turning
and-
it down.
There was a lot of pioneers in the 80s. They were called the 12 Tribes of Israel.
Oh,
And they started the dancehall scene in Auckland.
Okay.
Okay.
So like the Mighty Asterix and people of his ilk of that time.
Yeah.
So and also reggae is a really big part of Māori Renaissance
Yes.
as well. So
Yes.
Yes,
Yes.
I found that to be quite fascinating, and that's why, big up to the Maori reggae artists, big up to Teeks. There's quite a few people that have Eat with Three Little Birds. Most of the events that we go to, and I'll tell you guys this, they find us, catch a fire, and we don't do any promotion. Those guys naturally find us, so we understand the power of food and reggae
Yeah.
music and how it bring people together. So yeah,
Yeah.
big ups to the reggae artists in New Zealand.
now, if you go out around the Pacific, the reggae's out there as well.
Yes.
Yes.
Right through the
Yeah.
Pacific.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
I think there's something good here, and Alicia and I always say, and we might look simple, but don't sleep on us. If we get an opportunity to work with some of these artists, a lot of connections can be made between New Zealand and in Jamaica. Don't sleep on us. I'll leave it at that for now.
Perfect. Should we? I feel like we've hit like a really nice point. Let's play some music.
Nice.
Alright, so first song up is Pressure. It's Coffee and Buju Banton.
Oh,
It's like
yeah.
been the song that's on my head like the past month.
Yeah.
Like I've played this about
That's right.
twice a day.
Oh.
And then we have Most High from Ruby Doo, and Ruby Doo is one of those. I'm pretty sure one of her parents is Jamaican.
Yes.
So she grew
Yes.
up in that kind of that 12 tribes kind of.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think that's her. I'm not. I'm only guessing, but I think that's her background. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, that's cool.
Right, let's get into
One
it. With
FM.
Pressure. We're here with Eddie Leah and the Three Little Birds crew, and that was.
I love that
Most-
name, by the way.
Most High from Ruby Doo. Yes, we've hit this. We've done a lot of backstory. We've got from Jamaica to the US, back to Jamaica, back to the US, and then to here.
Yeah.
Tell us about I guess restaurant. Like, how did that kind of start out, and what's been the vision kind of behind that?
So I would say it's always an opportunity for us, and I think we got an amazing opportunity to be at Newtown Festival, and we just wanted to connect with New Zealand, and that was a good way of us starting and connecting with New Zealand, and actually helping to spread our culture. So we have met a lot of people. We have gotten lots of stories about Jamaican nurses who have worked in the hospitals, priests that has lived,
Yeah.
everywhere you turn,
Yeah.
there are people who have Jamaican stories, which is amazing because you would never expect that in New Zealand, but it's here. So that's how Three Little Birds started.
Yeah.
We went to Newtown Festival and we put a thatched tent
Yeah.
in the middle of the streets.
I think I got some of your food that
So, I
day.
mean,
I'm pretty
it's-
sure I did.
it's- I mean,
I think I was
Yeah.
walking past when you were like, "It's only cheap."
I'll make it even more raw and real. Alicia is very passionate about our culture. We came here and we were like, you know what? We need to introduce the real Jamaica to the New Zealand people. And our idea was the best way to do that is through food, right? Newtown, which is one of our favorite places, already we were switched on. It's very diversified. We felt the vibes. So we decided, you know what? We are going to give them the real thing. So on our creative side, I essentially erected a thatch in the middle of the street. In the middle of the street, we brought all the bamboo thatch in, and we were just putting it together.
Were you doing that since like what time in the morning did you
Yes,
start?
we got here 6 o'clock. Yeah.
Exactly.
Nice. We got here 6 o'clock. And one of the cool things is, people started to circle around us and watch the process.
Right.
And I think that was really cool.
Yeah.
And when we finally got it up and started the cooking, you could see the anticipation.
Yeah.
It looked different. We were bringing something new to New Zealand, and we were really excited about now. We want you to taste. Forget about this touch thing now. We have created that environment. We want you to taste what the real thing is like.
Yeah.
And Alicia says, bang on. Let's get in it. You know, I remember
Some of our locals might have been looking at it like, can we have that after you gone?
to show you how raw and real it was. Growing up, there wasn't no sophistication around gas grill or, you know, that kind of stuff. There were huge pots. I remember having the burner on the ground and having wooden spoon, and we were cooking rice and peas and curry goat, jerk pork, jerk chicken. Everything was done right in front of everyone. It was the best introduction that we could ever do to the people of New Zealand and to the town of Newtown. It was a big, massive success, and it was the launching pad for things to come for Three Little Birds, and we just kept on building and building. Then we found WOMAD, and that's another story.
Oh, WOMAD.
Then we went to Gisborne.
Yeah.
It's
we did
crazy.
Quite a bit. We did quite a lot of traveling too.
Yeah.
Just doing it. Yeah.
And just, it's almost like we're validating the vibes. People for the last 10 years was asking us to open a restaurant.
Yeah.
And one of the things that we actually did not yield to though was that reactive mode. We were still trying to get to learn about the culture. We were still educating people about who we are. So we spent all that time doing all that stuff, traveling the country, people tasting the food, and the only consistent thing that I can tell you, everybody love it. They love it, they love it, they love it. To the point that even, and you know this, people from London who goes to the Notting Hill
Festival.
Yeah, we actually have come across people from when we go to WOMAD, they find us and they're like, this is the greatest gift God has ever.
Because last up until I found you guys, the last time I had Jamaican food like that I hadn't had to make myself was 2019. Like, so it'd been like a good 2 years.
Yeah.
And I hit the point, and then someone was like, well, you know this Jamaican joint, and that's right. I'm just like, what? Where? Because there's only so many times I can make my own jerk chicken.
No, fair enough. You know,
I was so impressed with the food when I went there. It's like the best Jamaican food I've had.
I mean,
For real, it is.
Thanks for that.
It
So,
was.
that's like our mission.
Yeah.
If it's not good for us, it's not good for you.
And-
And I think that's how we
and
we do it.
I think we need to tell her because and we're in the year. Luckily, we get to tell the story. It's actually a big compliment, and I'll tell you a secret behind it. One of the things that Alicia and I consistently do is, how do you make sure that you give New Zealanders the real thing, just like if you go to Jamaica and you go to the local scene, you want to taste the curry goat, you want to taste the jerk pork, you want to taste the jerk chicken, and you must cook the rice and peas with coconut milk. So there is no shortchange.
No.
Yeah.
Because we're not driven by money, we're driven by our passion and value,
Value,
right?
yeah.
That interaction with our customers, which is now New Zealand, and just having that conversation. And that's why a lot of times culture come into play, community, that kind of vibe. We fuel off that.
Yeah.
Well, but that was cool. Like when we came to see you guys, and there was like a group of they come down from like Palmy.
Palmy
Yes,
stand
yes,
out.
yes,
They did.
yes.
Yes.
And it's that same crew who comes down like every time there's a dance hall, an Afrobeats night.
Yes.
They come down. They're
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
cool,
yeah.
we need to come down for
Yeah,
this. Like,
Yeah, because out of Auckland, it's like there's a desert between Auckland and the rest of the country.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
I
so
agree.
people will travel if they know that this stuff is here. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and it's good, and I think it's just we represent. I think I take it very seriously. Like I represent Jamaica every second.
She's
of
the
day.
ambassador.
Indirectly, no, because it's a very cool culture, and I think if you can present it in a way that everyone can be a part of it. And I always say to Simon, like, I want the restaurant to be somewhere where you could be the CEO, you could be the president, you can walk up in it.
Yes.
You could be the dude from down the road.
Yes.
You should
It's
be
open
able
to you.
It's open.
It's a welcome
It's
vibe.
a welcome environment.
Yes.
And that's kind of what we try to create.
Three Little Birds
wherever
is
we go.
it's the people's
Yeah.
business.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's,
Yeah. And
it's,
sell
it's for the
Jamaica.
people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
You know?
your restaurant and you're preparing food for people to eat. That's not a new thing. You've been doing that before you came
Yes.
to New Zealand.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
For in a very good question, in a fun way.
Yeah.
Alicia Backstory comes from making Sunday dinner for her family started from age 10.
Oh.
My takeoff in the whole culinary scene is inspiration from Alicia. Obviously, she's my wife. She's cooking these Sunday dinners, and I have to help out.
Yeah.
And then I started to cook for friends. We're gathering and we're having barbecues and picnic in Atlanta, and Alicia and I are taking over the kitchen. And then they're being wowed. And then we're looking at each other saying, wait a minute here, I think we got some skills.
Yeah.
And so we keep on doing this stuff and getting the same
The same
compliment
compliment,
that
yeah.
you're telling us.
Yeah.
So we were like, you know what? Newtown,
Yeah.
let's try this thing.
Yeah.
And so the restaurant came about at the right time.
Yeah.
We're having a lot of fun in Johnsonville.
And
It's
the people are really supportive. Like
Yes.
it's the most, like it's very
yeah, I think
family oriented and it's
that's
very
right.
supporting community.
yeah. It's
Yeah.
really ticking the box. I would say it's very similar to if we were in Newtown.
Yeah.
It's just I don't know. There is something intuitively where very welcome
Yeah.
from the people. It's very conversational.
Yeah.
People feel very comfortable within that space. Most times they don't want to leave. Our culture is very facilitative in the sense that we're very laid back and relaxed, and we want people to have a good time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's about music, food, and culture.
Yeah.
You know, it's not like, oh, your time is up, you
Yeah.
need to get kicked out of the restaurant. I mean, it's more than that to us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We are about people and vibe.
Yeah.
Right.
And getting to know us, oh man, that's a solution right there. Yeah. You know?
Yeah, I was just thinking, I really love the plantain. I'd never had it before,
You're getting
and
culture.
I've seen it on the Facebook pages, the Caribbean Facebook pages. Every time plantain comes to New Zealand, people go crazy,
Yeah.
and I'm like, I've just got to try this plantain,
Yeah.
and it's like I'm addicted.
No,
I want that
no.
all
It's
the
very
time.
popular.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
and it's actually a lot of people love it, and they always ask me like what it is, and I'm like, it's a big banana. Just think about a big banana that is.
Yeah.
It shows you're right. And that's why when I came in, I was saying initially at the top of the hour, our restaurant represent community, culture, sports, and heritage. The very planting that you talk about, right? It means that you and I are related. We're families.
Oh, okay.
In Latin America, in the Caribbean island,
Yeah.
people love the plantain. You
Yeah.
give it to the Pacifica people, they love the plantain.
Yeah.
So that plantain,
And they
that you
do a
see-
lot of cooking with coconut as
Yeah,
well.
and
So
we're all connected.
we are all connected.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're all
through
connected.
the food, and that's why Alicia says this is how we're going to approach it in New Zealand.
Yeah.
We're going
We're
to
all
use the
connected.
food,
Yeah.
and we're going to
Yeah.
reach out to people.
Yeah.
Speaking of the food, like, is it difficult to get some of the ingredients for stuff? I mean,
Not
not
for
at all.
us.
No.
No. No.
do you have a Jamaican food hotline? What's the story?
I do have a Jamaican food hotline. No, so I think we're not a purist, right? So that's the first part of it. So we do get our products from a distributor in New Zealand. Walkerswood. Yeah. So we do use the Walkerswood products at the moment, and I don't necessarily use it straight from. I make it my own.
Right.
So
Right, yeah.
It's not. So
If all the base ingredients are there,
all
you
the
can put it
base
together.
That's right.
Yeah, but
That's
I've
right.
made it my own. So
Yeah.
that because one of the things that you have to know is that in Jamaica you have the pimento wood and you have the way how it's done. So I had to figure out how do I make this authentically Jamaican. So
Right.
there's
Yeah.
things that I do to it that bring those flavors
Right.
into the jerk
Right.
that you would need to
Yeah.
have. So yeah,
Right.
so we do make a twist. I think it's a modernization of the product.
While maintaining,
while
the
maintaining
cultural authenticity, and
Yeah.
it's more around the method.
Yeah.
We figured out a way how to get that ingredient
Yeah.
to achieve the same
Yeah.
thing as if you were back home.
Yeah.
And what method to use to make
Make
sure
sure.
that it's presented that way. So that it does, it's not just getting
Yeah.
a bottle and do it will never taste like what we do.
Yeah.
I have to ask the question though, for those people who it's coming up to the silly season
Yeah.
and nobody wants to drink and drive, and you're in Johnsonville, Uber. Is it a possibility?
Yeah, I mean, we will eventually do that. But at the moment, we are better in control of the regular mom and pop, or a youngster phoning us, texting us, or emailing us for now, because we've been having that conversation.
Right.
And we are actually behind the scene thinking about how do we manage that. The moment we activate Uber, we know that could be a separate entity within an entity.
Yeah.
So you have to think about having additional staff to facilitate that. We're very big on making sure that we don't have disruption within our in-house experience. When Alicia is working the floor and doing that interaction, we still need to have that people getting their meals on time and all that stuff. So you have to think about those kinds of situations.
Yeah.
So it's a next year goal opportunity
it is.
that will
Yeah.
definitely take off.
So
Yeah.
that means that if we're going to eat there and drink there, we're staying there.
We'll put you up.
We're not driving back to town.
We'll get you a Uber.
Yeah, we'll take you guys on. You're a special guest. Might become the official sponsor of Three Little Birds. You never know. You never
So
know.
the BlackHouse is
Yeah.
proud. The BlackHouse is proud to
Yeah.
represent Three Little Birds.
Powered by
On the
Three
radio
Little Birds.
every
Yeah.
weekend.
Energized by
Come on, yeah. That's
that's
up.
cool.
Yeah.
Right. Right, should we jump into a little bit more music and then come back to our conversation?
That sounds like a plan.
Alright, so next up we have, I thought it was funny, Goat Curry from Produso. BlackHouse 106.1 FM. That was Love 2K21 from Asia Abazond. He's one of the brothers from down Dunedin way, so.
He's a busy man, that guy.
There's, all the Dunedin guys have suddenly, in the last month, suddenly just like music.
Yeah, it's really good to hear that they're putting they're making it known that there are black folk down the South Island, because we always worry about you guys down there.
Yeah. Holding it down.
Yeah. But I just want to talk about something we were just talking about in the music break. I was kind of, when I came to a restaurant and I really liked the vibe there, and then I turned around and I saw that massive field behind you, and I was just, reggae festival, food festival, what is going on here? But we used to have, this is back before I left and went to Australia, so this is back in the early 2000s. We used to have a big reggae festival in Newtown. It was in the Velodrome, which is between Newtown and Haitaitai. And it was just all tents. It went for a whole day, just like Newtown Festival. And it had all acts, music, everything was just reggae reggae music, everything. And for some reason they stopped it, and I don't know what the reason was. I heard it could have been complaints council or whatever, but it was great because it was free.
Yes.
Everybody used to run over the hill to get there
Great
and
vibe.
come down. If they came over from Mount Vic, they'd just come over the hill straight down to the velodrome, and it
Good
was
vibe.
massive, always on a hot day.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it was just awesome. Everybody just, and then, you know, when people left, they were just, you just saw all these people streaming out of the velodrome. It was
Yeah.
just mad. And
That's right. And that description, just imagine that being embedded with jerk, just
Yeah.
lots of that
Yeah.
kind
Oh,
of
yes.
stuff,
Yeah.
real stuff happening on the ground.
yeah,
Come on, man.
Yeah.
yeah.
That's, what,
Yeah.
it's, so
And
that's
that's-
one of our dreams.
And that's one of our dreams. And even
I know
on
a lot
Bob
of-
Marley's birthday. Like,
Oh, man.
And that's another thing that
Another
people
thing.
celebrate, because in Perth, we were celebrating Waitangi Day and Bob Marley's
Yeah,
birthday
yeah.
on the same day, and often that was what
Right.
was happening.
So,
Yeah.
an
Yeah, it
event.
was Waitangi Day. That's right.
Yeah,
That's when they had
yeah.
it. Yeah, they had it on Waitangi Day.
Nice
So
event.
you'd either went to Waitangi Day or you went to Bob
Yeah.
Marley's birthday
Yeah.
thing
Yeah.
and reggae
Yeah.
over at the
It's,
velodrome.
There are some opportunities
Yeah,
to
there are.
do
Yeah.
something
Yeah.
big.
Because it's definitely one of those things like, yeah, like I talked about when I was in Dunedin, like my friend and I wanted to do like a carnival style kind of set up, and it was one of those things that like didn't really happen in my last year because of COVID, but
Yeah.
then
Okay.
we were looking at trying to do like, like what can we do, like advertise it, do it as like a flat party or like a bit of a street party, because Dunedin had street parties, but it's that one of those, how can you shift this
Yeah.
to, like how can you just kind of get like even if it's like a side street
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
something, and just be like, okay, let's get this and just come take
Yeah.
over it a little bit
Yeah.
and have like a proper
Oh, yeah.
kind of like carnival style party,
Yeah.
like, and you know, do stuff in advance, like hold costume making and all that
Oh,
stuff.
the
yeah,
whole
that would
9
be-
yards.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then it's definitely one of those ones that's come up here. Is that obviously like there's definitely Wellington. I can be a lot of places that you could do some
Oh, yeah,
really cool.
definitely.
Yeah.
There are.
You could-
There are.
Yeah.
And the space right behind your restaurant's pretty amazing. Why go far?
Yeah, I think it's actually not a bad idea as well.
Yeah.
Because I can tell you right now, which is good for us. We are new to the community, but we are also building that relationship
Yes.
within the community. Alicia talked to the customers almost every day once we're open, so people are getting used to
Yeah.
they tasting the food, and then I believe some people even go away and Google, because you
Yeah.
know, one of the cool thing about what's happening in Wellington, and this is actually quite serious, we usually ask out of curiosity, where are people traveling from to come to our restaurant in Johnsonville. And I can tell you the name of some of the towns: Brooklyn,
Yes.
Newtown, Wellington City, Churton Park, Newland, the community of Johnsonville. And so when I hear like Newtown, Wellington City, and Brooklyn, I think that's commitment.
Yes, it is.
It's commitment.
And they're passionate. They're actually passionate. They're very happy that I found you guys.
Yeah.
This is the thing too. I think Alicia touched something. Reggae music impacts people in many different ways. And a lot of people are curious. Okay, I do like reggae, I do like that vibe, but they're curious about the culture as well. It's really an opportunity to actually meet someone who actually comes from the motherland, which is, our roots, Jamaica.
Yeah.
And we're there giving them the real deal,
Yeah.
having that interaction. I mean, the feedback has been massive, guys.
Yeah.
People are not shy to say, hey, this is really, really good.
Yeah.
I mean, if you think about it, there's this guy, and I don't know, he blew me away. Last week, this guy came in with a little Portuguese puppy, and he came all the way from Brooklyn. The puppy is so cute, and he was well behaved, and he sat there, but the guy was so happy eating the curry goat and the plantain. When he finished, he actually came up and says, I've been waiting for this for weeks. And finally,
That was me when I came in. That
honestly, guys, I'll tell you, and we'll get this a lot. People think that we actually put weed in our food
Yeah.
because they're so happy.
They're so happy.
They are so
yeah.
happy, right? When they eat the food. But I need to say this. When we cook with a lot of passion.
Yeah.
We're not shortchanging anything.
Yeah.
We are putting in the real stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
people are getting that on the other end.
Yeah.
If it doesn't taste good to Alicia and I, then it's not good for you guys.
Yeah.
Good. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's fantastic. Like,
I can't wait to
Yeah.
go back
I-
for another feed. Actually, I'm just waiting for my big monthly check. That's all.
Oh my God.
So I need to have a good feed.
Yeah.
No, it's been
I
it's
remember
been
when
really
we were
good.
there, like, I think it was honestly, we just kept ordering. It was just like, right, it was like, so it was like, yeah, we'll get some more plantain, it's like some more.
Nanny
some
couldn't
more
get
jam.
enough chicken.
Yeah, they couldn't get enough. Yeah, I remember. That's like, where does it go?
Yeah,
No, it's been,
Yeah,
it's been
absolutely.
really- it's been really good.
It's been good, no.
It's been good.
Yeah.
And I can't keep up because you know, someone told me the other day, man, when Perra, especially those Mari find out about your restaurant, we have gotten somebody last week Friday from Upper Hut.
yeah,
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I mean,
it's,
like-
it's amazing
You know,
that
so-
people are coming.
It's touching a lot of people,
yep.
and that's my goal. I want to reach as much people
Yeah.
as possible.
And
we
it's
kind
so
of know-
close. Like Jamaican food is so close to some styles of African food as
Yes.
well.
Yes.
So you know, don't be surprised if a whole lot of African stuff
No, we
turning out there all
have,
the
we
time.
have gotten
Yeah.
some
We
Africans.
did.
I shouted, I remember the
Yeah.
Yeah.
week before, the week
Oh,
there,
yes.
I shouted out, I was
Yes.
like, yo, it's like, yo, these, but like, on
Yeah.
the ACCW show. I was
Yeah.
like,
Yeah,
yo,
yeah,
you need
yeah.
to- You
Yeah.
need to come in.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
people
Yeah.
came because of
Yeah.
that post.
Yeah.
That when you shared it, people from Africa came
Yeah.
to our restaurant
Yeah.
because they said they saw it when you shared it. So yeah, thank you.
And it's been really good because we've gotten people from Indians and
Oh yeah, it's
like every race. I think it's the most like if you watch and over the weeks it's like it actually out of many
one people. That's
we're
our
actually
national motto.
reflecting our motto
Yes.
because every race, every
Comes
culture
into our
came
building.
into
Yeah.
the building,
Yes.
and it's really good.
And
it's-
that's who we are.
yeah.
And that's why I'm saying people feel very comfortable. That's why Alicia says, and we do have like CEO and president and all that stuff. And so the very little man on the street, they're
Everybody.
welcome and they come and eat.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that's the kind of vibe and concept our restaurant actually currently operates on at this
Yeah.
at this
Yeah.
point in time. And it's
Yeah.
working.
And it's kind of creating its own personality.
Oh,
too,
yeah.
Which is like we're just leaving
And I'm
it
just
to do
going
its
with
own.
it.
Yeah.
To be honest with you.
So I was just thinking, you've got a bar there, right?
Yes.
Do you make those Jamaican cocktails?
Oh.
We
It's
well,
about to
actually-
go on this
we
weekend.
Oh,
actually
I'm
this
ahead of the
This
game.
weekend.
This weekend actually.
Oh,
The rum punch.
Well, the Deaf Society is
Yes.
having they're having a Caribbean night.
The
Wow.
Wellington Deaf
The
Society.
Wellington Deaf Society is having a Caribbean week this weekend, and
Yeah.
we are actually doing the rum punch as one of the.
Yes.
wonderful.
We're doing the rum
Yes.
punch.
What day
yeah.
is that?
It's the 27th, so it's Saturday.
Saturday.
Yeah.
Okay. Can anybody come to the Deaf
Oh,
Society
we,
thing?
we are gonna open the restaurant.
Oh.
It's gonna be.
So
I'm
yeah,
there.
And it's there. Yeah.
it's a pretty cool concept, you know, because on one side you can have the Wellington Deaf Society interacting, eating our food, having fun, and then in the restaurant you have the public
Yeah.
who comes. It's
Yeah.
just this one big mix up of everybody, and people are just generally happy and comfortable being in a safe space where they're all welcome.
Yeah.
I think that's essentially who we are.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, one love.
Yeah, it's just
So-
amazing. Yeah.
So tell us about like booking out your restaurant and how does that work?
So you can book the restaurant. We have a space that holds up to 100 people. As long as the days are available, you can come book us, ring us, give me a call, and we can tailor the menu to whatever
Whatever
your
you-
liking is. We can introduce new things. If you ever want to have ackee and saltfish, which is a national dish, I can bring that on the
Yeah.
menu.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oxtail, it's not. We're not just limited to what's on the menu at the
Yeah.
restaurant. If your exposure to Jamaican food is wider than that,
Yeah, we can.
we are happy to
I tell
provide
you,
that to you.
the
Yeah,
menu
yeah.
can be endless, and
Yeah.
one of the things that we'll do, and you guys will see when you come to the restaurant a lot more often, you probably soon start seeing some chef special.
Yeah.
And the chef special will introduce menus that we would like to throw
Yeah.
in there, but I can't put everything on the menu.
No.
So I have to kind of create those kind of
Yeah, yeah.
specials.
Okay.
Right,
Yeah,
yeah,
so
yeah.
there is opportunity to
Yeah.
taste so many
Yeah.
different menu options. So that's the plan that we
Yeah.
will do.
And
moving-
we will have like special events. Like I have an idea where you could have an event where you don't know what's on the menu and it's
you
just
show up.
like oxtail or pig trotters, just things that you haven't had in you
Yeah.
know, maybe not have experience or have using different parts of the pig for different things.
And you sit down and you
You
wait.
sit down and eat
Yeah.
and experience a different side of Jamaica.
Yeah, so-
you know.
There's quite. Yeah,
Is there
I think-
anything that you find difficult to find here to source?
I mean, having Alicia next to me, because when we were in the United States, and I think this is important to, we are seasoned immigrant, which means I could say I consider myself or us to be global citizens, which means that wherever you live, if you're curious and you're trying all these different kind of ingredients and seasoning, in terms of from a Jamaican perspective, what we do is how similar is
Yeah.
this to what we know?
Right. Yeah.
A lot of places, and this is important, especially people who are listening from the Caribbean or Africa. One of the things is certain things have different name, but it's the same
Same thing,
effect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you have to be curious to try all
Yeah.
these different stuff to figure out which one works.
Yeah.
And that's part of one of the qualities that Alicia has brought from the United States when we were in our experimentation period with ingredients, is trying all these different stuff. So if you can't, like for instance, a curry powder in Jamaica, come on, I'm in New Zealand. Even
So we
Alicia
make
parents
our own.
used to sell curry, but we make our own island spice, right? You go to those Pacifica shops,
Yes.
you can get those curries. So there's a better level of smartness in terms of how you achieve the same objective.
Yeah.
So we nullify that thing to say, oh, we can't get it.
Yeah.
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 Nah,
And
that's
I
it.
think it's and if you can't get the real fruit, you do the can or it's
Yes,
just making
yeah.
it work.
And
for
then
you,
add
but-
stuff to it,
but-
how you achieve it, yeah?
And achieve
Yeah.
the same flavors, but you need to be able. Like what I use is I'll go to a restaurant and I can pick your food apart
Yes.
and figure out what's in it.
And it,
And then I go home and I'll be like, okay, so this could work with our jerky
Yes.
and make it
if we
taste
like
a certain
something,
way.
Right.
yes.
You know, and
right.
So we're
it's-
constantly
So
thinking.
we constantly thinking, and we try to eat out at other places just to see, okay, so how
See
does
what's
that
going
flavor
on.
work
Yeah.
and see
Yeah.
what's going
Yeah,
on.
yeah.
Yeah, and we'll see something at the supermarket and we look at the ingredients and I go home. I like to experiment, so
Yeah.
I
And
go
we
home
just-
and I'll figure it out.
We'll try
and-
it.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
you try it, and he's like, oh. And I always say I have this weird thing. Like, I remember childhood, and I think I said that to you. I remember the flavors from my childhood, and I
Yeah.
try to recreate them. And
Yeah.
that's basically.
And I
what
think
we
that's
do.
where the passion
Yeah.
comes in. When
And
we
the
get-
soul, you know, like
Yeah,
the
and the
soul
soul,
of it.
yeah.
That's what
Yeah.
I'm saying. Right. When
Yeah.
you get into it,
Yeah.
I could close my eyes. We don't use recipes.
Yeah.
I can close my eyes and just start cooking up a storm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It comes from within.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was really I showed my auntie that the first saltfish fritters I'd ever made,
Yes.
like probably 2 weeks ago. I was just like, at first time I did it, and it was because obviously there's saltfish at more Wilson's, and
Yeah.
I
Oh,
wrote it
yeah,
back
yeah.
down.
Yeah.
But that's one of the things where I said, I was like, look what I made, and I was one of the things she was like, wow, like you're really going on because
Gotta give
because
it a
I've
go.
grown up so disconnected from it, and
Yeah.
the food has been the headlines.
Yes.
That's the first thing that's brought me back
Yes.
into it.
No,
Yeah.
it's really good.
And I think that's what food does a lot,
Yeah.
though, isn't it? It sort of like brings people back to a sense of home.
Bingo.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
And
I
that's
think,
what Three
yeah.
Little Birds is all about.
And one of the biggest compliments is when you, because we have had a lot of Jamaicans friends who have had our food and they remind them of their grandmother's cooking, which is like
yeah, that's
a
big
big
time.
compliment.
That's
you know,
a
like
massive
have a
compliment.
massive
Big time.
compliment when someone
No,
says, "Oh,
it's-
it reminds me
no,
of home,"
it's
or "It
true.
reminds me
Yeah.
of my grandma." or
It's,
something.
Yeah.
So it's those we are very big on feedbacks,
yeah.
and that's why we go out of our way to ask. So we provide an experience, and we are very interactive with the customers, right? We want to know, how things are and that kind
Yeah.
of stuff. And so, and we're fortunate. It's been really good.
Yeah.
We've gotten some very serious compliment. If I followed what customers say, I probably would have owned 10 restaurants up and down.
Yeah.
But we are not like that. We are very patient.
Yes.
And Alicia a little bit more patient than me.
But she's
But-
doing reconnaissance on the food in other
Yeah,
restaurants.
yeah.
She doesn't have time to.
Yeah, but you know, and this is partly from a Jamaican culture. In Jamaica, we would say whether we spirit take you or not, or our level of intuition, a lot of stuff happens from within before we jump and do certain things. And it also impacts people.
Yes.
If I tell you that you're pretty cool to hang around, it's a big time compliment. It means that I will have coffee with you, I will have dinner, you know, that kind of vibe.
Yeah.
It's very, I would say, I've taken a liking to the Maori culture and the vibe. I don't get a chance to talk about this all the time, but when I came here, I picked up on a lot of stuff that there's a lot of similarities, and that's why the music hit home. So whether it's the food or the culture, we definitely see eye to eye from that cultural perspective. So especially family, people coming together, that kind of vibe.
Yeah.
Sweet. Unfortunately, that's all the time we have, because I feel like we could just keep going. Like, I
It's
want
never
to
ended.
I want
It's
to just
never
keep
ended.
going. But thank you guys so much for coming out. And
We need to get the address.
Yeah, the address. When this goes out, we'll make sure. Oh, what days are you guys open?
Yes, that's
So we're open from Thursdays to Saturdays.
Okay.
Thursdays and Friday we are open from 5 to 9 p.m. and on Saturdays we're open from 11 to 9 p.m.
Perfect.
okay.
And yes, what we'll do is we'll link in the address when we check it out and it goes out. And Johnson, well, as you know, where is it?
It's at the Alex Moore Park Sports Complex.
Yeah.
And we're on the second floor. That's where the restaurant and cafe is.
So that's the Alex Moore Park Complex.
Yeah.
Expo Park
Yeah.
Complex.
In Jayville.
In
In
Jayville.
Johnsonville.
Yeah, in Jayville. The Jayville top. And there's actually, it's the Warraw hub. So there's a sign on the building.
Yeah.
And usually it's WAIORA. So you can't miss it.
Yeah.
Perfect.
17 Bannister Avenue.
17
Jayville.
Bannister Avenue.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Excellent. Like, thank you guys so much for coming.
No worries, man.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Fantastic.
Thanks
Easy.
for having
Thank
us.
you.
I'm
Okay.
coming for that rum punch.
Nice.
You should.
Yeah.
Alright, this has been the BlackHouse with Eddie, Leah, and the Three Little Birds crew. We'll see you guys next week.
We'll see them at the restaurant.
We'll see you guys at the restaurant. Yeah.
We'll see you at the restaurant.
Yeah.
Nice. We'll continue. Yeah.
Alright, thanks for tuning in. We'll see you guys next week and at the restaurant. Peace.
No worries. Big up. Yeah.